Hello students, welcome to lesson 0.2. Our objectives for this lesson, you will be able to explain the classroom procedures regarding mastery checks and what to do if you need to revise a mastery check, how Ms. J will review and provide feedback on your practice activities and mastery checks, the student expectations and behavior during self-paced learning time. So a quick review, what is a modern classroom? It includes blended learning, which means this is completed in person and on the Chromebook. It uses instructional videos and guided notes that are created by me. It provides more time for teacher support because this frees me up being able to walk around the room. I'm not stuck at the front of the classroom lecturing to everyone. And it is self-paced, which means it's paced according to the target due dates. You can get behind or get ahead. Again, you can see the target due dates on your personal progress tracker, but you know what's coming up in the lesson and unit, so there's no surprises. And it makes it easier to collaborate with other students because you can find out what lesson they're currently working on. A modern classroom is also mastery-based, which means you are graded based on the mastery of the content that you're learning. You are responsible for your learning, and your final artwork, because this is an art class, your final artwork for each unit is a culmination of what you have learned. So I have some expectations for you during instructional videos. First of all, this video and Canvas should be the only windows that are open on your Chromebook. We're not listening to music. We're not using our phones. If you're wearing headphones or earbuds, I assume you're doing that to listen to the video. Number two, you should follow along with the video while completing the guided notes. If you get stuck or you just lose focus, because that can happen, check your notes or pause the video. You just need to do something to refocus. And number three, pay attention to what you need to do for the guided notes. You're not always just copying everything word for word, and not everything is going to appear in the slideshow. So you do have to read what's in the guided notes. The guided notes are sometimes checked, but they're not graded. So sometimes you'll be asked to complete a check-in. This is part of our procedures. This is an example of a check-in. It's a way for me to find out where are you currently on in the lesson. Do you understand the objective? What's your goal for the day? Not the goal for the entire unit, just for the day. And just how are you feeling? And sometimes I like to do these with my students just to find out how things are going. Remember, you do have a personal progress tracker. This serves as a checklist to help you complete all of the parts of the lesson. So like literally as you're completing each part, you can check it off. If you finish the main lessons, there will be an extra lesson or two that builds upon the skills you have learned. So if you finish the main lessons early, go to that extra lesson. Remember, your learning is a journey. This isn't a race, okay? Some students think that there's a progress tracker and it's like a race against another student. That's not true. Everyone learns differently and they will be at different points within the unit. So how do you know when things are due? When are things are coming up? Check your progress tracker. You can also check Canvas. I try to keep both of them with the same dates. And what's nice about Canvas and self-paced learning, it equals happiness, like a nice warm bowl of ramen. Yum. So the assignments are organized in the order according to your personal progress tracker, which means the assignments are meant to be completed in that order. And within the module, I have it set up where the next part of the lesson unlocks when you complete the assignment in the previous page. Of course, if you get lost or confused, you can refer to the instructional video or the instructions for the assignment, or just ask me for help. So like notes, mastery checks, guided notes, they're the most important information from the lesson. They're non-negotiable. You have to do them. They must be completed. They prepare you for the practice activity. Mastery checks, that is completed independently, silently, no phones, no notes, no friends. It's kind of like a quiz, but it's meant to be short. It's summative. It's just for you to check, do you understand what you need to know for this lesson? It might be hands-on with me, like I'm watching you do something. It might be completed on paper. Now, in terms of mastery checks and revisions, the mastery check is the final step of the lesson. Of course, you can review your notes and the practice activity before you complete it. And as I said, don't stress about mastery checks. I know it sounds like it's something big, but it's just a progress check. In terms of revisions, if the mastery check just didn't go as you had planned, we'll review it together and you'll take a different mastery check that covers the same skill. Now, how will I give you feedback on your work? In terms of a mastery check, I will try to review it as soon as possible because you need to get that quick targeted feedback right away. You need to know, how did you do? If you need to revise, I will inform you. If I'm giving you feedback on a project you completed, you will find that feedback in Canvas. Now, if you don't pass a mastery check the second time, meet with me, we'll review information, and you'll take an alternative version of the mastery check. Don't worry, we got this. So if you need to revise something like a practice activity or a mastery check, I will let you know. Like if you didn't do something right in the practice activity, I don't want you going on to the mastery check because you might do something incorrectly in the mastery check, right? We want to make sure you have everything taken care of before the mastery check. Now, for certain classroom procedures, they're going to remain the same despite this self-paced learning process, right? Requesting to use the restroom, that's going to be the same procedure that we learned at the beginning of the school year. Picking up art materials, getting supplies, asking for help, turning in physical papers and work. There's always a designated spot to turn in your stuff. The big thing is using the entire class period to work. Yes, you might need to collaborate with others, and the truth is, no matter what your path is after high school, you're going to have to work with others. So you're practicing this skill in this class. Collaborating doesn't mean that one person does everything and someone copies it. That's cheating. And so if I have a concern with how you're collaborating with other people, I will talk to you. And the truth is, sometimes you're going to have to work with someone you don't like or you don't know. I would say just deal with it. This is the learning process. And you are expected to treat everyone in this classroom with dignity and respect, just as you should be treated. So here are some what do I do if I've completed my work early? Do you need to go on to another lesson, or did you just finish everything, right? Check in with me if you're not sure what to do next. If you're missing an assignment, I will let you know because I do keep track of your progress on my own as well. If you're tardy to class and we already started self-paced learning, just jump right into the current lesson you're working on. If you've been absent, or you know you will be absent, of course, pick up where you left off, but it's also a good idea to check in with me. I might forget to check in with you because if I have multiple students absent or you've been absent for several days, I'm sorry, I just can't keep track of that. I have a lot of students to think about. If you need to leave the classroom during class, like going to the restroom, going to the nurse, going to the wellness center, it's the same procedure for asking to leave. If you've completed the guided notes, well, show them to me so I can check them and move on to the practice activity. Now, in terms of our cell phone policy during self-paced learning, I will still signify when it's appropriate to use your phone, right? A red, yellow, or green light. If everybody's working on their clay projects, it's probably going to be a green light time. But if we're just starting a unit, it's going to be a red light. If you're asked to take photos of your artwork, do it and use the phone responsibly. In the past, most students are able to do this with no issues. But if your phone becomes a visible distraction, I will ask you to put it away, or I might have to confiscate it, right? Like, is TikTok really the best use of your time during class? And if you're not on pace and your phone is distracting you, oh my gosh, it's going to be confiscated, and I will be calling home because you're choosing to use your phone and you're behind. That's not a good situation to be in. Now, expectations during instructional videos. As I said, we're not multitasking during this time. So we're not watching other videos. We don't have other things going on. You really should be focused on that current task. And if you're not on task, I will do something to redirect you. But if I have to ask you constantly, you're losing studio habit points, and I have to have a conversation with you. And most students don't want to have a conversation with me about the use of the videos. Now, we got a couple tips for Edpuzzles. I'm going to let you read these on your own. Now, expectations during practice activities and assignments. You need to work independently unless if I ask you to work with a partner. Now, can you collaborate? Yes, but you each need to complete your own work. So if you're both doing an Edpuzzle at the same time, you're both going to have to complete your own Edpuzzle and notes, right? You can ask for help from your friends, your peers, but you need to be more specific. Don't just say like, what's the answer to number 4, right? You're just getting the answer. You're not really understanding anything. And it's always a good idea to check your work. Make sure you understand the concepts because, again, after the practice activity, you're moving on to the mastery check. Now, during mastery checks, they are completed independently, silently, without notes, without your friends. Depending on the task, sometimes mastery checks take 5, 10, 20 minutes. If you run out of time, don't panic. I will hold on to your work for you so you complete it next time. Yes, you can take mastery checks during study hall. Just talk to me, no problem. Now remember, lessons and units, they are going to close in Canvas. We can't self-pace forever. We all need to move on to the next unit at some point. So I will give you reminders, check Canvas. The units have a hard deadline. The projects, which is the artwork you're making, that has a due date, and we still have that 1-week grace period. Now, when a unit closes, it's closed in Canvas. You have to talk to me to get it opened again. And if you have any zeros, it's going to remain in there until you take care of that work. That's why it's important to be on pace with your work. Now, a couple expectations. Use your time efficiently. Be cooperative with me, with each other, but not disruptive, and you're not distracting your peers. Respect yourself, each other, respect your work and the art materials. Ask questions. I can't read your mind. I wish I could. So keep an open mind and try your best. Again, self-pacing is going to be new, and you're likely going to be learning new things in our units.